Hi, folks. Terry Brown here, and I want to thank you so much for taking a few moments of your time to check out this video today. Self-image psychology is one of the most important concepts within psychology itself. In my opinion, it's one of the first things to look at or to study when it comes to mindset development and personal transformation. Now I've got some vital information I'd like to share with you. So stay with me for the next few moments and we're going to get into some really great information. Okay. So I'll be right with you. Okay. Now this message on self-image psychology is in my course, which is the Abundance Mindset Personal Transformation course. Okay. And there's actually Self-Image Psychology 1, and there's Self-Image Psychology 2. So this is some information found in our first lesson on self-image psychology. Okay. And it gives you an idea of the kinds of information that we'll have in our course. Now, our course is something that eventually people will be able to market and earn money from. And if you can see here, it says, let me see, grow yourself and your bank account. So you'll be able to do that with our course. All right. And you'll also see here Great Life Worldwide and the nation's first flat fee pharmacy free prescriptions. Now, the links to those programs are going to be in the description area of this video. And so you'll be able to check those out if you have an interest there. Okay. So let's get into this information from our first lesson. Okay. So as a personal growth and transformational life coach, my initial work with clients is focused on self-image psychology. And it makes sense to me because this is where I started my journey in transforming my own life. Okay. And what happened was I got hold of some information. Okay. And nothing really just happens, but it's for a reason, But I got hold of some information. As a matter of fact, my friend, and the year was 1980, he brought over to the house a cassette, um, some cassette tapes, and they were from this company called Success Motivation Institute. And he left those tapes over my house for 2 weeks. And I literally devoured those tapes. Before he came back and got those tapes, I spent hours and hours just listening to those tapes. Okay. And in a very short period of time, my self-image, which was very distorted, very damaged, okay, began to change. It was then that I realized that that the self-image, okay, the image that you have of yourself, when we talk about this, the image that you have of yourself can be changed. All right. And we'll talk about why some people need to change their self-image. Some people need to modify their self-image. Some people need to make adjustments to their self-image. Why? Because if you're like I was, I had a very poor self-image, okay, which caused me to have some other issues, okay, like poor self-esteem, and I had an inferiority complex. I'm getting ahead of myself, but I just want to kind of explain what was happening in my life before I got into personal growth and personal transformation, etc. Okay. And so, to make a long story short, again, I grabbed hold of those tapes that my friend brought to the house and I just began to listen. Okay. And the information in in that tape series caused me to begin to look at myself differently. And it caused me to change my life in a positive way. Okay. So you can begin immediately to change your life, but um, the process of growth, happens over a long period of time. You can begin immediately, but you want to continue to grow. Okay. So we never stop learning and we never stop growing. But again, and I emphasize this, okay, but you can begin the process of change relatively quickly. Okay. Now, my self image began to change before I knew what a self image was. I was living my life based on what Dr. Robert Anthony called faulty thinking. So think about that for a moment. Faulty thinking, because a lot of people today are living their lives based on faulty thinking. Stay with me. Okay, now, long story short, okay? I had a poor self image, okay? And I perceived myself in a negative light in various ways, okay? I had low self esteem. So I had feelings of low self worth, low self value, and low self respect. And I had an inferiority complex. Plus, I mean, I look back and I can laugh about it a little bit now because, you know, I was in a mess, really. My life was in a mess. All right. Plus, I had a host of other self limiting attitudes and behaviors. All right. And even though I saw myself in that light, that was not who I was. And there are many people in the world today who see themselves in a negative light, and all kind of issues, come about as a result of the way people see themselves, okay, or see themselves, should I say. So the self-image is your own concept of what sort of person you are or what sort of person you think you are, okay? And it is vitally important to know and to understand yourself. And when I say to know yourself, I'm talking about to know the real you, to know your true self. All right. How can you be truly you? Listen, how can you be truly you if you do not know who you truly are? Something to think about. Stay with me. Okay, now a poor self image can be a debilitating force in one's life. It was in my life. It can prevent individuals from achieving their goals and pursuing their dreams and living their lives to the fullest. And for me, um, it caused me to shut down in a lot of areas of my life. Even when I was at a job, I was an outside salesperson, which with my self-image, it was very difficult. And I told this in another video that when it rained outside, guess what? I couldn't go out. If it was cloudy, I couldn't go out because that's what I felt like. I felt cloudy on the inside of my life. Okay. And the rain just, it was one of those things that, my spirit was already dampened. And so with the rain falling down, guess what? It just felt more dampened. Okay. But I found out that changing a poor self image is not an insurmountable task. Okay. Now I knew something was wrong with me. I didn't know how to fix what was wrong with me. That was my issue. I did not know how to fix it. Okay. But it's not difficult at all. to change your self-image. If you have a poor self-image, low self-esteem, all that, guess what? It's not difficult to change those things, okay? With the right information, with the right mindset and the strategies. And these are things that we cover, okay? Anyone can learn to love. Look at this. I'm going to point this out. Anyone can learn to love and accept themselves for who they are. Anyone can change, modify, or make adjustments to their self-image, okay? You can do it, for real. Okay, now, the self-image is the mental picture that we have of ourselves, including our physical appearance, our personality, and abilities, etc. Okay? It is a critical aspect of our mental and emotional well-being, as it can and does influence our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. Oh my, 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 my. And this is what was going on in my life. I felt bad. I felt um, unworthy. I felt I couldn't do certain things that I really could do, but I felt I couldn't. You understand what I'm saying? But a positive self-image can lead to increased self-confidence, better relationships, and improved mental health. And in the course, I go through these things. See, this is stuff that I live. This is not stuff that I just, although I did study this, but I lived it after I, you know, found out about that I had a self-image. I said, oh, okay. And again, before I knew I had a self-image, I saw myself, I felt myself changing. You see, you can't change your self-image by willpower. You have to change the picture that you have of yourself, okay? Now, again, a positive self-image can lead to increased self-confidence, better relationships, and improved mental health. On the other hand, a negative self-image can lead to feelings of inadequacy, low self-esteem, and even depression or anxiety. And I believe that I had some mild depression in those days. Okay. Now, draw your attention here for me. It says, more than my scars. Okay. You are more than your scars. I was more than the scars that I had in my life. And you see this part here says, your soul knows you are good enough. My soul knew. My mind didn't know. Okay. My intellect didn't know. But my soul knew that I was good enough. Stay with me, okay? Okay, now there's another thought. And I shared this in another video, but I wanted to share more in this video. Okay, but there's another thought that says, I am more than my scars. Okay. And whatever scars you have in your life, right, you are more than those scars. It was more than the pain that I was feeling. Okay. I was more than the rejection that I felt. I was more than the feelings of inadequacy. I was more than all of that. Look at this. The challenge for a person with a poor self-image is that often he or she sees and focuses in on the scars, and sometimes the scars are very deep. It's important to remember who you were before the scars. Okay. Well, and I could spend, like a lot of time on this subject, but this is just to give you an idea of the kinds of things that we'll be covering. Okay. Remembering who you were or who you truly are will change the game for you. remembering, or we could say knowing, getting to know. See, who you were before the scars is really who you are. Okay, stay with me, and I've got just a few more things to say. Okay, now the term scars, if you haven't figured it out, is used here in this lesson, and it is symbolic for any beliefs, any incidents, any situations, etc., that were instrumental in aiding in distorting your self-image, if that's your situation. You see, my self-image became distorted as a young kid. I was called horrible names that affected me as I became an adult. Messed me up, man. Really. I know how people get messed up. And it was scars left in my life. And if I hadn't grabbed hold of learning how to change my life, and in a sense that happened by accident, but nothing really happens by accident. I didn't know it was going to happen, but it just did, because I realized that when I grabbed those tapes and I started listening to those tapes, I realized that I was living by other people's opinions of who I was. I was allowing other people to define for me who I was, and I could cry now thinking about it. You see, the scars of life can be so deep that we forget who we were. We lose sight of who we are. Memories can be so painful and yet so revealing. In closing this out, and I cover a lot of this in the 2 lessons of the psychology of the self-image psychology. So there is a self-image of you before any scars existed. Okay. That was your self-image before any distortion came into your life, if any at all. See, you may not have gone through some of the things that I went through, okay? But you still could be lost to who you truly are for other reasons, okay? And sometimes people don't really understand that they are lost. But when we allow other people to use and abuse us and all kinds of things that happen to us, and we even do that to ourselves sometimes, and we don't understand why. But in closing this message, okay, it could be that you need to understand your purpose for being, your reason why you are here on this earth. And we deal in all types of these subjects in our course. But there you have it, just an idea of some of the things that we talk about in our in this particular lesson. Okay, thanks a lot. Okay, well, thanks so much for taking a few moments of your time to check out this video today. Hope some of that information there was beneficial to you, and wishing you a blessed and wonderful day today. Bye-bye now.